Well, it's official. I'm running for U.S. Congress. I ran for Congress here in Southwest Missouri about 10 years ago, back in 2006. And when I ran back then, I won the primary with no money, got over 70% of the vote. Then in the general election, I ran against the incumbent Roy Blunt with no money and got over 30% of the vote. And in the last 10 years, that's been the most that anybody's ever got. I'm running again this time in 2016 because I really think it's time for radical change in the country. I feel like it's time for a political revolution. Bernie Sanders, with him running this year, he's kind of like my role model for what I'm doing with my campaign. This country, I don't know, I really don't know what's happened with this country these last 20 years or so. This culture that we have anymore, nobody talks anymore. Nobody follows rules anymore. We live in an entitlement world where everybody thinks it's all about me. Me, me, me. There's just so many things that need to change. So many things that need to go back to the way things used to be. It's just, it really saddens me how this country's changed over these last 20 years or so. People don't write anymore. People don't read something on a piece of paper anymore. The technology anymore is just the culture, the way of the norm. This new generation has been raised up in a technology and a reality show, a TV show culture, so they've never known any different. And I just think it's really time to bring back some principal values to our country and bring things back to the way they used to be. I got some notes here. What I'm going to do with this campaign is it's going to be away from the traditional type of campaign. What I'm going to do, I'm not going to be out there trying to raise a lot of money or anything. It's pretty much going to be like my last one in a lot of ways, where it's just coming self-funded with no money, no budget, underground. I'm an independent filmmaker, and that's how I make my movies. And over the last 10 years, the films I've been making them with no money, and they play all over the world on nothing. And it's made me pretty famous, and where I have a cult following in the independent film world, all over the world. So I'm going to use that same kind of format and method with this campaign. It worked pretty well with me last time, 10 years ago, when I won the primary. So let's see how it works this time. Let me put my glasses on here to read some of my notes. Okay, a little bit about me. Like I said before, I'm an independent filmmaker. I'm also a 30-year veteran of stage, film, and TV as a director, an actor, a writer, a producer. So most of my background's been in the entertainment business. Also, I'm a former college professor. I'm an Army veteran and small business owner. I've traveled all over the country. I've lived all over the country. I've worked so many different types of odd jobs over the last 30 plus years as well. So I represent the regular person, the little man, the person struggling to make ends meet, person that just works a regular job. But at the same time, I've got a background where I've done so many different things. I can relate to people in small business, little jobs, teaching jobs, business jobs, and my entertainment background really gives me a plus too, because with my degree in business and my master's degree in communication, I can really relate it and tap into this culture. Another way I'm going to be doing this campaign is it's going to be more of a online campaign for Congress, where I'm just mainly going to be using social media, YouTube, Facebook, blogs, just different tools online to let people know about my message, because this culture nowadays, people don't talk anymore. People aren't face-to-face anymore. So if you really want to reach people, if you really want to talk to people anymore, you have to do it through technology. So instead of spending a lot of money and driving around to different places in this district, I think that it would serve my purpose a lot better just to do things online and let people know my message and what I'm trying to get done online, and that way anybody can just Google it and find out what I'm all about and what my campaign's all about. It just really amazes me, this what we're in nowadays. It's just a different time. We don't live in the country we did 20, 30 years back. So yeah, you have to change with the times. You have to evolve with the times. Now, a little about where I'm running. I'm running for Congress here in Southwest Missouri in the 4th Congressional District. I just got, let's see, looking at my notes here. I just went up to Jefferson City just the other day and officially enrolled for Congress. And it looks like I got there a day before the deadline. I took a trip up to Jeff City, and the drive up there was nice. It's about, I'd say 150 miles here from Barton County, where I live and own property. And I drove through a lot of small towns and a lot of counties on my way up there on a back road. And the district I live in, Southwest Missouri's 4th District, is pretty much the most populated district in the state. But it's very conservative here. It's very red here. I'm running as a Democratic candidate, so I'm real liberal. I'm a very liberal Democrat. So I stick out around here like a sore thumb. But it looks like when I went up and filed in Jefferson City the other day, it looks like there's 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats. There's 4 of us running for Congress. So it's me against a fella in Columbia for the Democratic ticket. He's a doctor in a small town. And then on the Republican side, there's the incumbent, and there's somebody running against her. So one of the 4 of us will end up being in Congress in January. So it'll be interesting to see how this social online campaign works for me with no money. So I'm interested to see how all this goes. Let's see here. Let me talk a little bit about the issues. There's so many issues to talk about that I really feel strongly and different about, but here's just some top ones I'm going to be covering. Climate change. I feel like the most important issue in our country and in the world is climate change. We have to save the planet for our next generation, and there's a lot of ways we can do that easily that I'm going to be covering. Health, wellness, and ending childhood obesity. All of this is tied together, and I think we need to make our planet healthier. We need to make our people healthier. We need to make everybody more active, and our children are our future. So it all starts with the kids. So I'm going to be covering that a lot. You might hear that tractor running in the background. out here in a ghost town. There's a lot of farmers, and where I live, a lot of traffic and tractors go by. So you'll be hearing a lot of that. Other issues, equality and equal rights for all. Civil rights, women's rights, racial rights, gay and lesbian rights, modern day civil rights. There's so many issues that deal with equal rights and civil rights that really need to be tapped into and changed. And next, terrorism, Homeland Security, and the Second Amendment. Modern day terrorism, domestic terrorism. There's so many things going on in our country that you see in the news every day dealing with terrorism, Homeland Security, and guns, our rights to guns. And this is an issue that's really important to me, and we have to make some radical changes with that. And another big one is just making our country great again. A lot of people think our country's great, but it's not great like it used to be. We need to make it great the way it used to be, and there's a lot of changes that need to be done with so many different issues. I made a list over this last month of over 20 to 25 different issues that are important to me. So during the campaign, I'm going to be touching base on these and talking briefly about what we need to do to make some radical changes. So this is the first episode that I'm shooting here. It's really time for some radical changes. It's really time for a political revolution. It's time to really shake things up and make some radical changes to make our country great again. My name's Jack Truman, and I'm running for U.S. Congress.